Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Uli. So this is going to be my first video in a sort of mini 5-part series, which is a follow-on from one of my first videos, which was my 5-part plan to heal my eczema and just generally to get a lot healthier. This first video is for the first part of the plan, which is arguably the most important part, and that is your diet. And let's be honest, that's the only reason anyone ever goes on YouTube anyway, to find out what people eat. So this is for anyone who has sort of skin issues, chronic illnesses, or sort of just not feeling very well, or if you want to lose a bit of weight, this is a video that is definitely going to help you. Like I said in my previous video, your diet is probably the most important thing when it comes to your health. Think about it, you eat at least 3 times a day, your body builds off and feeds off everything that you put inside it. So obviously if you put good things inside it, you're gonna get good things coming out, and vice versa. If you put rubbish inside it, you'll also get rubbish coming out. And this manifests itself not just only in your health, but also in your mood, absolutely everything. So diet is super key. To heal my skin, I am following a vegan, whole foods, plant-based diet. What this means, obviously vegan means absolutely no animal products. So this means no dairy, no meat, no chicken, no seafood, absolutely nothing that has come from an animal. Secondly, when I say whole foods, plant-based, I mean I eat things that are not processed, as in they haven't gone through a factory, they have literally, it's just the whole food as it's been found in nature, or as close to as it's found in nature as possible. I believe that this is probably one of, if not the most healthy diet that you can follow today in our modern society. There has been many cases of people who've cured all sorts of chronic illnesses following this diet. A lot of people only ever report from feeling a lot healthier, a lot better, looking younger. So many benefits to it. So what I've done to sort of clarify what this diet looks like is I've recreated my own little food pyramid, which I will put onto the screen here. What I'm going to do now is going to go through each of these layers of the pyramid and sort of describe to you guys what my diet is composed of, in detail what each of these layers include and what they sort of don't include, and why they're important and why in that proportion to each other. At the very bottom of the layer, we have got water, obviously. Your body is 60% water. Benefits of drinking water: not only does it hydrate your skin, it helps to energize you, helps you concentrate, it helps your digestion. You have to drink a lot of it, especially if you have dry skin problems like I do. I think I do roughly drink 2 liters of water a day. I drink it, you know, just like this in a glass. I like to squeeze a bit of lemon into it because it's actually much easier for your body to absorb it if there's some kind of mineral attached to it. I also drink plenty of herbal teas. I'd say I'm pretty much, or I try to almost constantly be drinking water. So that is obviously the very bottom part of the layer. If you're going to skip eating altogether, then at least remember to drink water, otherwise you won't live. Sorry, talking about water makes me really thirsty. So then we've got the base of our pyramid in terms of food, and that is vegetables. And specifically, I want to talk about here is overground vegetables. These are things like leafy greens, lots and lots of leafy greens that you need because they have all sorts of very important micronutrients in dark green leafy vegetables that will help you in all sorts of healing processes and all sorts of detox processes, as well as sort of helping to heal your skin. So leafy green vegetables, that's things like kale, spinach, lettuce, chard. All these things are really good for you, so get lots of them in. Other green vegetables, so you can have things like green beans, courgette, cucumbers, asparagus, broccoli, all sorts of things. Anything that's green is very good for you and it's delicious. Other types of vegetables, we've got the sort of the more colourful vegetables, still overground, so things like tomatoes, things like peppers, aubergines, mushrooms. I don't really know where they fit. I think those kind of fit in overground. Yeah, they're overground. All sorts of different things. Basically, let loose on the vegetables, have as many as you want. They're extremely good for you and you can't have enough. So the layer on top of vegetables is split into 2 because I couldn't quite decide which one I had more of the other. I think I have them about the same amount. And that is your vegan proteins and your starchy root vegetables. So let's start with the first one, which is your beans, legumes and pulses. This is going to be your source of protein, especially important if you're vegan. It's very important to get a variety of these because basically the difference between vegan protein and animal-based protein is that the amino acid chains in animal proteins and in our own bodies are complete chains, whereas in vegan sources, so things like beans, and you can get protein in other plants as well, the chains are not complete. So they're basically like little snippets of all the chains that you kind of need to piece together to get the whole thing. But it's very easy to do this as long as you're eating a variety. So this includes things like chickpeas, butter beans, kidney beans, haricot beans, lentils are really good, very high protein. Other things like tofu goes in there. I think a lot of people are super anti-soy. I don't really know where this came from. There's a lot of studies out there saying that soy is actually very good for you, and especially the more recent ones. I do stick to organic soy just in case. That's my protein. And then on the other side of that layer of the triangle, we have starchy root vegetables. So I know you said in the bottom layer there's the sort of the overground vegetables. This is the underground vegetables, so things like sweet potatoes, carrots, beetroot, turnips and swedes and butternut squash and all those kind of really yummy, hearty root vegetables that are very healthy, natural carbs. I'd eat about the pulses and the starchy root vegetables at roughly the same proportion. So going up one more layer, I've split it again, and this time I've split it into fruits and whole grains. Let's start with fruits. Obviously fruits are very good for you, lots of micronutrients, lots of very hydrating, very delicious, but I don't eat as much as some vegans, and especially some raw vegans do. I for a while thought that you couldn't eat enough fruit and it's all really good for you, but I've actually very recently found out that you definitely can eat too much fruit, because especially if you're eating it on its own, fruit is sugary. Yes, it's good sugar, it's not calorific or anything like that, it's not going to make you fat, but it is going to constantly spike your blood sugar. But I do eat plenty of it. I don't sort of restrict myself at all. It's in no way bad. I don't eat it as much as the other layers of the triangle. On the other side, we have whole grains, so things like brown rice, quinoa, buckwheat, all these kind of whole fibrous grains, non-glutinous. I am not eating gluten at the moment. I don't necessarily think that gluten is that bad. I don't really know where I stand on this. I'm just trying to avoid it because I thought I might as well just keep it as processed free as possible. Most things that have gluten in them are in some way processed, even if it's, you know, not bad for you, just like bread is not bad for you, but it is still processed in some way. So I'm just cutting it out for now, and there's plenty of stuff that's left anyway, so it's not like I miss it. Although sometimes I do miss bread. Most of the time I don't miss it. So then one layer on top of that. So this is the smaller amount of fats, and my healthy fats include things like avocados, seeds, tahini. If you can eat nuts, this is where nuts would go. I personally can't eat nuts. I find that they make my skin react quite a lot. Maybe that's just me specifically, but I think that if you have skin problems and allergic problems, then nuts are very, very fatty, very, very heavy. And the thing is with fats is that fats are broken down in your liver, and if you eat too much fat, it's quite a burden for your liver. And you can eat like little bits here and there throughout the day, but maybe not all at once. And I find nuts are firstly very hard to eat just one or two because they're delicious, but also they're just not very easy to digest. At the very, very top point of my triangle, I've just put MISC for my miscellaneous things, which I don't really know where they fit, so I put them in here because I eat them so occasionally. I wouldn't really consider them a staple of my diet, but something that I might have every now and again. So these are sort of slightly naughty things, so I have occasionally a little bit of dried fruit, a little bit of dark vegan chocolate every now and again. I will have a little bit of oil every now and again. For a while I had like an absolute fear of oil. I would freak out every time I realised I'd eaten some of it. I kind of came to the realisation that it wasn't so much the oil that was causing my skin to break out whenever I ate it. It was the fact that I'd stress about the fact that I ate a little bit of oil. So I also want to add in terms of the things I drink. So like I said before, I drink predominantly water. I drink loads of it all day, every day. I also have nut milk or oat milk or rice milk. It just kind of depends on what I can find. Anything that doesn't have added sugar, added oil, and added weird preservatives. And I drink loads and loads of different types of herbal teas. I don't drink caffeine, I don't drink coffee. I do occasionally have myself like a nice little just a normal Earl Grey or like English breakfast tea, because obviously I'm British and sometimes you just gotta have a cup of tea. I very occasionally have that, but generally I don't have any caffeine. That is basically the overview of my food triangle that I basically constructed. So I did actually go to an organic farmer's market today. I will show you guys a little bit of what I bought. This isn't necessarily something that I buy every single week. Things will change depending on what's available, depending on the kind of the recipes that I have in my head. So this is everything I got at the farmer's market. So we've got lots of vegetables here. Obviously we've got some lettuce, some peppers, some spinach, green beans, broccoli, courgettes and a cucumber. And then we've also got sort of our starchy root vegetables. Got some beetroot here, which the lady actually told me that you can cut up and saute the leaves with some garlic, so I'm going to try and do that. We've obviously got our sweet potatoes. We've got lots of healthy grains here, so I've bought some quinoa, I've bought some split peas, some rice, and yeah, I've got some oats there. And for proteins, we've got things like lentils, and I got some tofu this time, some haricot beans, and then a bit of fruit. So mainly sort of fruits like cherries, which are and strawberries, which are in season. And then what else have we got? A little bit of tahini, so that's a little bit of fat. Some bananas, again, some extra. And then we've got some corn here in the back as well. I always go for organic corn, and a little bit of oat milk. So yeah, so basically this is the overview into my diet. I didn't want to start with the things that I avoid, but obviously as you can see, anything that kind of falls out of this triangle I don't really include. So that includes obviously the animal products, no sugar, no added sugar, no white table sugar. I have a little bit of salt every now and again. I don't panic about that at all. I generally, as you can see, I don't try to have anything that's processed. So basically, if it hasn't come out of the ground, if it hasn't grown on a tree, on a bush, I don't really eat it. So yeah, I hope this was useful. I hope there was lots of information here. I'm sure some people have lots of questions. Definitely add your questions here. I also want to do a shameless plug here and say that I have an Instagram account. So if you guys want to add me there, then you'll see lots of recipes and hopefully some inspiration, and just to show you that actually eating this way is a really lovely and yummy and delicious way to eat, and I think it's great. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll check back in with you guys very soon. Okay, bye-bye.